This is the lecture for Katrina Mackenzie's Personal Identity, Narrative Integration, and Embodiment. So the main topic to talk about here is the topic that I raised in the previous lecture for the Schechtman chapter. And there I talked about how narrative theories of personal identity kind of uh, inherently push us to think about identity over time, whereas the theory we've looked at before narrative, the bodily theory, is less maybe naturally like geared towards that. The bodily theory is just, you are your body, and so if your body keeps going through time, you keep going through time, whereas the narratives are inherently a sort of time-based thing. And I mentioned this because this is going to recur on the second page of the reading, and you'll notice it's the first question in the reading quiz, kind of comes up, uh, like, brings up this sort of question and the related question of like the relationship between numerical and qualitative identity when it comes to the question of personal identity. So that's just a flag. Keep your eyes open for that and think about this in the context of this stuff we've been talking about already. And that's pretty much the only thing you need to know going in. I mean, one more thing to add. So you can tell from the title of the chapter that this has to do with embodiment because that's one of the words in the title. And this is just to flag before you read it. We, despite having just read the bodily theories of personal identity, uh, at least the ones we read, I mean, the one we read, Williams, he doesn't really care about what Mackenzie is going to call embodiment. If you recall, uh, Williams said, oh, well, this body swapping machine or this potential body swapping machine, it would be weird if like you got swapped into a body that's very different from the body that you have. And so we're just going to ignore this kind of question. Just imagine they have identical bodies or they have very similar bodies or something like that. And then he goes on. And as you're going to find out when you read this chapter, by embodiment, Mackenzie means much more than just merely like having a body or something. And she's much more interested in this question that Williams ignored, which is like, what does it mean? Like, what is the relationship between your identity and having a certain sort of body and living in a certain sort of body in a certain sort of way? So, that's going to show up in the chapter, but this is just to say, keep that topic in mind as you read through it. She mentions it a few times, but she mostly gets to it near the end, and so it's good to know that this is a direction that she's going, one of the main directions that she's going as you read through the chapter.